In 1953, during an austerity so severe that the Israeli government had banned heating water during peak hours, an engineer named Levi Yissar climbed onto his roof with a modified water tank, 2 glass-covered collector plates, and some copper pipe. He connected them, and he let the sun do the rest. No pump, no electricity, just thermosiphon physics. Hot water rises, cool water falls, and the cycle runs itself. Within months, his neighbors wanted one. He founded a company called Neria and started building them commercially. By 1967, 50,000 Israeli homes heated water for free. Today, that number is 85% of all households in the country. 1.3 million systems on 1.3 million rooftops. The technology costs about $700. In America, the same device costs $7,000 to $9,000. Fewer than 1% of American homes have one. This is not a story about Israeli innovation. This is a story about American abandonment. The device is simple. A flat, dark plate sits inside an insulated box behind a sheet of glass. Sunlight passes through the glass, heats the plate, and that heat transfers to water flowing through copper tubes bonded to the surface. A storage tank sits above the collector. Hot water rises into the tank. Cool water descends to be reheated. The cycle repeats all day with no moving parts. A flat plate collector converts 60 to 80% of incoming sunlight directly into heat. For comparison, a solar electric panel converts 15 to 20% of sunlight into electricity. For the specific task of heating water, solar thermal is 3 to 4 times more efficient than photovoltaics. And the man who made it work at scale was a physicist named Harry V. Tabor. Tabor arrived in Israel in 1949 at the invitation of Prime Minister Ben-Gurion. By 1955, working at the National Physical Laboratory, he had invented the selective black surface, a coating of black nickel and black chrome that absorbs more than 90% of solar radiation while emitting only about 10% as waste heat. That one breakthrough roughly doubled the efficiency of every solar collector on Earth. He presented it at the first World Symposium on Solar Energy in Arizona. It was called the hit of the conference. Tabor's coatings are still used in virtually every solar thermal panel manufactured today. He never got rich from it. He filed patents into his 90s and died in 2015 at 98. His summary of the work was simple. In a country with no fuel, the sun was an obvious thing, but it was not obvious to anybody else. Here's the part that should make you angry. America did not just adopt this technology. America invented the commercial version. In 1891, Clarence Kemp of Baltimore patented the Climax solar water heater. It was a black tank in a glass-covered box. By 1897, a third of homes in Pasadena, California had one. By 1941, more than 60,000 units were installed in Miami alone. Over half the population of that city heated water with the sun. Then cheap natural gas killed the California market. Florida Power and Light sold subsidized electric heaters and killed the Florida market. The technology that worked for decades was replaced not because it failed, but because fossil fuel got cheaper. Then came Jimmy Carter. On June 20th, 1979, he had 32 solar water heating panels installed on the White House roof. He created a 40% federal tax credit for solar installations. He pushed the Department of Energy solar budget from $40 million to $576 million. He founded the Solar Energy Research Institute in Golden, Colorado, with a $130 million budget and nearly 1,000 staff. His line at the dedication was simple: nobody can embargo sunlight, no cartel controls the sun. By 1981, 3,500 companies were manufacturing or installing solar water heaters across the country. Israel passed its mandate in 1976. America was right behind it. Same technology, same physics, same decade. 2 countries standing at the same fork in the road. Ronald Reagan took office in January 1981 and chose the other path. His first budget proposed cutting solar funding from $576 million to $193 million. By 1987, the renewable energy budget was $124 million. His 1988 request was $71 million. He fired Denise Hayes, the director of the Solar Energy Research Institute, in June of 1981. Staff was cut from 1,000 to 450. The budget went from $130 million to less than $30 million. On December 31st, 1985, the residential solar tax credit expired with no renewal. In 1986, the 32 Carter panels were removed from the White House during a roof repair. The press secretary said putting them back would be unwise based on cost. A top official reportedly called them just a joke. In California, the solar water heater industry went from 650 companies to 37. In Florida, half of 350 solar businesses closed in a single year. A man named Ed Murray, who had joined a Sacramento solar heating company in 1978, watched the entire industry collapse around him. He is still in the business more than 40 years later. His assessment of the American market today is that he could put a sign over his front door that says free solar water heating, and people would still stay away in droves. The panels ended up in a government warehouse in Virginia. In 1991, a man from a small college in Maine found them piled in a corner among crates and surplus furniture. He compared the scene to the warehouse in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Today, one panel sits in the Smithsonian. One is at the Carter Presidential Library. One is in a solar museum in China. The rest are scattered museum pieces, which is exactly what Carter warned they would become if America chose not to lead. Fly over Tel Aviv today and look down. Every rooftop glitters. White cylindrical tanks and dark flat collectors mounted on virtually every building in the country. Israelis call them dud shemesh, sun boiler. In summer, the water gets so hot you have to mix in cold to shower. In winter, you flip a switch for 30 minutes of electric backup heating. The whole country heats water for free using a technology that America invented in 1891, perfected in the 1970s, and then threw away. Israel saves 2 million barrels of oil every year. The average American household spends $400 to $600 annually heating water with gas or electricity. Water heating consumes 20% of all residential energy in the United States. The U.S. water heater market generates $3.5 billion a year, selling tanks that last 8 to 12 years and must be replaced again and again. A solar water heater lasts 20 to 25 years. It connects to no utility. It requires no fuel delivery. From the perspective of every company that profits from the replacement cycle, it is not a product. It is a threat. In December 2025, Israel announced it may finally move past solar thermal, not because the technology failed, but because, after 50 years of success, the country can now optimize further with photovoltaics and heat pumps. America never got to the starting line. The same sun that heats water in Tel Aviv shines on Phoenix, Miami, Houston, and Los Angeles. The physics has not changed since 1891. The only thing that changed was who was in charge of the money.